right, let's talk about the sisters and the brothers and the fathers and the daughters.
Okay. let's do that.
Welcome to VCR, Vintage Cinema Rewind. We're bringing old movies to new viewers. I'm Blake,
And I'm Michael.
and we've got your pick. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday
Even
to
though we're
me.
late.
We're a little late.
We're way
yeah.
late. The top 100 just coming in and dropping a bomb on us.
Yeah, we're all behind. We're constantly behind.
And
Just
it's all our fault.
Yeah, well, what can you do, right?
And there's no fate here. There's no it's pure accident, or is it? That we're here talking about this movie.
For my 33rd birthday, I wanted to do the Sweet Hereafter.
Yeah.
Which I think is ranked second in the top 10, third
Yes.
in the top 10 Canadian movies of all time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is a movie that I had seen a long time ago in film school for my Canadian cinema class, and I remember really liking it. I didn't really remember much of what happened, though.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, I forgot that Bilbo was in it.
Yeah. Been explaining that a few times this week to people about what we were watching this week.
Yeah. So, anyways, I much like Videodrome before this, I revisited this and had a really, really good time with it.
Yeah. Spoilers for my review. I also thought it was great.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
very glad you picked this one. Honestly, going into it, first 5 minutes, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to like this movie. And just purely on the fact that you said it was a just miserable film, and I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this one. This sounds not my vibe.
It sounds dour.
Yeah, and it was great. I loved it.
Yeah, I really, really liked it. I'm pleasantly surprised because I looked over at Sarah last night and I said, Blake's not gonna like this movie. He probably fucking hated it.
Yeah, no, I pleasantly surprised as well, all around. You want to get into the plot?
Yeah, I mean, such that it is. Before we get into the plot itself, maybe we should talk about the way this movie is structured and the overall tone.
Sure.
It has and this was based on a novel, which I haven't read, but I think follows a similar, chronology.
Yep.
This whole movie is about a really tragic school bus accident.
Yes.
Which resulted in the deaths of many, many children.
Yep.
So this movie is quite miserable in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
And the movie kind of has a very non-linear structure where we're kind of just bouncing forwards and backwards in time. Like in one scene, the kids are still alive, and then in the next, they're, gone. We don't even really see the bus crash until very, very late in the movie, too. Yep. So things kind of dovetail around this whole incident. And more so than the event or even any of the individual characters, this is really a movie about a community struggling to cope with this terrible loss. Mm-hmm. And, our vehicle, though, into this community is Ian Holm's character, Mitchell Stevens, who is let's call him what he is, a slightly slimy lawyer.
Yeah, he's a class action lawsuit lawyer who has no tie to this community whatsoever, who has flown in to basically stir up some trouble.
Basically, yeah. He's an ambulance chaser, right? Yeah. He heard about this incident and he's like, oh, we can make money at this, right? Yeah. So it's almost kind of funny, and I don't think this was intentional, but it almost kind of reminded me of the classic Western story of the stranger riding into town, only instead of helping people, he's just making everything worse.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, this movie's not super fond of lawyers.
No.
And who can blame them? But anyways, yeah, so Mitchell Stevens, played very well by Ian Holm. He wants to rally all these grieving parents together so that they can sue the bus company for basically damages, right?
Or whoever.
Yeah, basically.
They're essentially trying to identify who is at fault for this accident.
And there's kind of a little bit of a mystery where there's Dolores, the bus driver, and there's a lot of was she speeding? Was she driving recklessly?
Yeah.
She claims that she hit a patch of ice and then et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
But Ian Holm is pressing that I'm sure maybe the bus was defective or there was a part somewhere that was
right.
Basically, yeah, it's like you said, he's basically just grasping at straws. Someone can be blamed for this and we can make some money from this.
Yes.
More importantly, I can make some money at this. And Ian Holm has kind of his own little tragic backstory, character arc sort of thing where he's divorced and he has an adult child who is basically like a rapidly deteriorating drug addict. So
Mhm.
that relationship is very strained, and yeah, things just kind of go from there.
Yeah, I don't know that you need to talk too much more of the plot without getting into spoilers. So
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
I read a couple reviews, and I've heard some people say that there's almost no plot to this movie, which I don't really agree with. There is definitely a plot, but
yeah.
just the way it's structured, it kind of gives it's flexible. It gives the movie the freedom to go off in like all these different directions, right?
Well, at its heart, it's about this community, right?
Yeah.
And it's about this grieving community and also the secrets within the community. And just the living, breathing nature of a community.
Yeah, and I mean, I think, for us, we grew up in a small town in Canada. It's like there's a certain, some of this stuff hits kind of close to home.
Yeah.
Not a lot of it, thankfully, but some of it.
Yeah, no, for
Yeah.
sure, for sure. So yeah, I think that's a great summary of the plot. In terms of characters and people you may know, you've already mentioned Sir Ian Holm, one of the greats. Obviously, most of us know him as Bilbo from the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Yeah.
You may also have actually recently seen him in a way because he was in the last Alien movie.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, and that's kind of an ethical nightmare kind of thing going on. But yeah,
I mean, his family gave approval, right? Because Ian
Fair
Holm is
enough,
no longer
yeah.
with us. His family gave approval for his likeness to be used as the character Roke in Alien Romulus.
right.
And, that, and kind of also connected to that, obviously, like Ian Holm was such a big part of the original Alien movie.
Yep. He was Ash.
yeah.
The creepy milk-powered android.
Whoa, spoilers, Michael.
Yeah. Oh, come on.
Yeah, but no, I'm a big fan of Ian Holm. I actually kind of forgot that he was also one of the main stars of The Fifth Element, another movie we've done on the podcast.
Oh,
Been
yeah.
a few years, but important important British actor to my film watching life. So it's cool to see him in a starring role. And actually, fun fact, this was his first starring role ever at 65.
Damn, don't give up on your dreams, kids.
Yeah.
I will say, I'm not terribly familiar with Ian Holm aside from those two big performances. But like watching him, I'm like, oh yeah, like he can carry an entire movie on his shoulders.
Yeah, he was great.
Yeah, he almost kind of reminded me of what's his butt? Hannibal Lecter. Shit, what's that actor's name?
Yeah, he's kind of got that
Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah.
He kind of like slightly similar facial features and also like a weird wormy charisma when he needs it.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So, yeah, amazing.
And I would say the second star of the film is Sarah Polley, who we've actually talked about on this podcast this year when we did Last Night.
That's right.
She has a pretty small role in Last Night, but she is a Canadian icon. She's a director and actress. I mean, I'm a big fan of her starring in Dawn of the Dead.
That's right.
The only Zack Snyder movie that I think is great.
Yeah.
So other than 300, 300 is
Yeah,
pretty good.
I do
too.
enjoy the 300.
Yeah, but so it's cool to see her again. It's a pretty early role for her, playing Nicole, who is probably a late teenager in this film.
Yeah, she's like a budding country music sensation.
Yeah.
Kind of like an amateur, but, clearly very talented musician.
Yep. Oh,
Yeah.
she's only 15 in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry. Which may be important later in no spoilers.
Yeah.
to this film's plot.
Let's move on.
The other one that I want to shout out is Bruce Greenwood.
Bruce, you know what's funny?
Yeah.
I saw his name in the opening credits and was like, oh, I forgot Bruce Greenwood was in this movie.
Yep.
I got halfway through the movie. I'm like, where the fuck is he?
Man, he disappears into the role.
Yeah, well, part of it is just I'm not. So I think, to those people our age, your closest Bruce Greenwood comparison might be like he was Kirk's surrogate father figure in the new Star Trek
Yeah,
movies.
he's Captain Pike. He got a pretty important character to the Star Trek universe. I'm becoming a Trekkie, so
Nice.
I'm starting to join that. So watching Strange New Worlds, which actually is about Captain Pike, and then Jess and I have also been watching the Star Trek trilogy from the 2000s.
Yeah, like the J.J. Abrams one.
Yeah. So cool to see him in that. He also was in The Fall of the House of Usher last year. He's becoming a mainstay in the Mike Flanagan universe.
Oh, is he?
So-
Oh, good for him.
Yeah. He also was in Doctor Sleep. So I
Shit.
didn't realize he voiced Batman.
That's right. He was in Under the Red Hood. He
Yeah.
was, and by the way, he's a fantastic voice for Batman.
He is a fantastic voice in general. Like, I would actually think that he should do more voice acting.
Mhm.
Not that I don't like his presence and his physical presence in movies. That's a weird way to say that.
No,
but-
I know what you mean. just own it, Blake.
Yeah, he's great. I'm a huge fan of Bruce Greenwood, and I actually think he's maybe even slightly underutilized.
I would say so, but like for me, one, it was kind of weird seeing him. Like I'm used to seeing him as the older guy.
Yeah.
So seeing him as a younger guy kind of threw me.
Mhm.
Also, you're right. He fully embodies this guy.
Yeah.
Like this kind of down on his luck. I don't want to say hick because he's clearly a very intelligent man.
Yeah.
But like just kind of this working class mechanic, single father guy, right?
Yeah, and you know what? That's the thing, is he kind of the way he is, his presence as a performer is you can't like actually discredit him. Like he always
Yeah,
comes
yeah.
across as a pretty intelligent guy.
I would say so, yeah. It wasn't until there's a close-up shot on his face later on in the movie when I was finally like, oh, fuck, that's Bruce Greenwood.
I did a double take too,
Yeah.
because we were introduced with him in the truck riding behind the bus, right?
Mhm.
And so watching that, I was like, "Is that Bruce Greenwood?" And I was like, "No, that can't be."
No,
and then,
no.
then one point he takes his hat off, and I'm like, "Oh, it is him."
So let that be a lesson to you, my fellow balding people. A hat can really
Yep.
change a face.
Yeah.
So
Well, and a missing tooth, a blacked out tooth.
yeah,
So-
that kind of threw me too.
Yep.
So no,
Um,
I think Bruce Greenwood arguably steals the show in this movie.
He's one of the best actors in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I very much agree. I actually really liked his character arc a lot.
There's actually all the acting in this movie across the board was
Yeah.
pretty solid. There's one performance I don't like, which we'll talk
Yeah,
about. Yeah.
I fully agree. I
Yeah,
know exactly
yeah,
what you're talking
yeah,
about.
okay.
Yeah, all I have to say about that is, Daddy, would you like some sausage?
I'm so glad we're on the same page. And now the person we're talking about, like, no shade to the actor or actress. I think it's more a case of like, just maybe bad dialogue.
Yeah,
Like, how are you supposed to make that dialogue sound good?
I agree. Yeah, we'll talk about it in the deep dive, but yeah, I can't wait to talk about that. It's really distracting.
Yeah, you're like, what the fuck? Well, it's funny too, because we're really bearing the lead on this point.
Yep.
This poor blameless actor is drowning, but they're in the same scene as Ian Holm.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like Keanu Reeves and Gary Oldman in the old Dracula movie, where it's
Yeah.
kind of just like Keanu Reeves isn't. I guess he's not that bad, but like when he's against like a powerhouse of acting,
Yeah.
you're like, oh,
Yeah.
wow,
Yeah.
like your
Yeah.
deficiencies are thrown into sharp relief here.
Yeah, for sure.
So we love you, Keanu, though. Keep acting.
So yeah, there's some other good Canadian actresses in this movie. Dolores, who you already mentioned as the bus driver, played by Gabrielle Rose. She is actually in the most recent Final Destination movie, which is super cool. I haven't actually watched it yet. But
Oh, really?
yeah, I've seen every Final Destination movie actually, except for Bloodlines.
Is that the newest one?
It is, and I've heard it's really good.
Are those movies good? I don't think I've seen any of them.
They range from like horrible to pretty fun.
Okay.
Like they're kind of like Rube Goldberg killing machine movies, and that's kind of fun.
I can relate. All right, cool.
Yeah, I honestly would kind of recommend them for your late Halloween treat.
Okay, well, I've got 24 hours to cram as many horror movies down my gullet as I can. So.
Yeah, I guess technically when this comes out, it's going to be like way past Halloween, but yeah.
Well, you know what? People, start building a Google spreadsheet for next year. All right? Don't say we never did nothing for you.
Yeah. And then I also wanted to mention Wanda Otto, one of the grieving parents, is played by, and I'm going to butcher this, but Arsene Conjayan.
Was she the hippie woman?
Yes.
Yeah.
Who is married to the director of this movie, who we'll talk about in a second. She actually instantly very, very recognizable face. I was like, oh, that's the woman from the streetcar in Last Night.
Oh, fuck, it was. Shit.
I can't believe you didn't put that together.
And yeah, I'm the one who keeps defending that scene too. And
Yeah.
somehow I just
Yeah, no, I instantly was like, oh, cool.
Well, she does, I guess, you know what? To her credit,
Yeah.
she really sells grief.
Yeah, she's a Lebanese Canadian actress, and she is in a lot of the director Adam Egoyan.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, he has kind of a cool filmography. He did some early horror TV show directing. I saw like he did some episodes of Twilight Zone and Alfred Hitchcock Presents. And then he did a Friday the 13th film.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then he did the movies that he's most known for, apart from this one, are Exotica and Remember, which are very like heavy drama films.
I think I saw Remember. I don't think I've seen Exotica though.
I kind of want to watch Exotica.
Yeah, I really there's some great like shots and compositions and camera movements in this movie where I'm like, holy fuck, that was awesome.
This is a very cinematic movie.
Yeah, so I'm definitely interested in seeing more of his work.
Yeah, for sure. So who's this movie for? Does it hold up to a modern watch? I mean, it came out in 1997, which is almost 30 years ago, but also doesn't feel like that.
Yeah. Don't remind us. I thought it held up quite well.
I thought it did too.
The only thing you have to be prepared for is those cute old-timey cell phones with like an antenna that you pull out. Yeah. But I'm taking the piss. I actually thought it held up very well.
I thought so too. Honestly, this is kind of a crowd pleaser movie, and even it being as dour as you say, like I genuinely think most people will get something out of this one.
Yeah, well, I think, the movie is kind of funny. It has funny moments, right?
I genuinely laughed out loud in the third act.
Yeah.
Like really heartily laughed out loud.
Me too. And like as dour as it is, it still ends on like I hesitate to say, no, I'll say it, like a slightly uplifting note where you're kind of like, oh, okay, sure, right?
Yeah, I agree. And what I'll say too is, I mean, this is a movie dealing with like, an extreme tragedy, like children dying on a bus.
I gotta say, by the way, I as a writer myself, I can't think of anything more depressing than a school bus full of dead children. Yeah.
But here's what I'll say though, is I actually think that this movie could have been way more exploitative, and it's actually really tasteful what they do around the tragedy, because obviously they show some of the tragedy, but we really don't have to get into like some of the grimy bits of the tragedy, and I think that's a really smart way of how he directed this one.
There's a great scene where Bruce Greenwood's character is staring down at his dead children, but we don't see the children. We're just focused squarely on his reaction, which is kind of like a great metaphor for the movie's intentions, right?
Yeah.
It's less about the tragedy and more just about the how the community is going to reckon with this event.
Yeah, so I think, if you compare this to like a Darren Aronofsky film, like way less exploitative.
Yeah, don't hand this subject matter to Aronofsky. But,
So that's part of the reason why I like this movie, is because I felt like it was significantly more tasteful and less like, really just trying to rip at my heart artificially.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
So
really, really big fan of this one. I think pretty much everyone should check it out. Honestly, if you're Canadian, there's a chance that you've seen this movie, because it actually is on CBC Gem right now.
That's where I watched it. Yeah. CBC Gem.
And it's also on YouTube available. I found it for YouTube.
I did see like
too.
the whole. I remember one of my old professors saying this, that like, the great thing about Canadian cinema is that you can find most of these movies on the internet for free.
Yeah.
Because Canadian filmmakers know they're not going to make a fucking dime from it. So they're just like, fuck it, I just want it being seen.
Yeah. So but by the time this episode comes out, I'm actually planning on putting on our YouTube channel a playlist that has a bunch of movies that I found on YouTube for free.
Oh, that's great. That's a good idea.
Because I've been actually watching a bunch of Russian movies, like the Soviet movies. I was telling you about Tarkovsky, right?
Yeah.
Off mic. And so a lot of Tarkovsky's films are actually on YouTube. And they're like really, really high definition versions of them.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, it is kind of funny. Like, you can just... Some movies, I guess if like... the producers don't care about making money anymore, you can just find them up there, you know?
Yeah. So circling back to my point, actually, so the reason why I was saying that is because, Jess and I were watching this one, or she was half paying attention. She's like, I might have seen this before.
Really?
And she looked it up. She's like, oh, yeah, I've totally watched this on CBC, like with my mom before. So, Yeah, she was already kind of aware of this one.
Oh, okay. Shit, dude.
Yeah,
Well,
so
cool.
if you're Canadian, if you're one of our Canadian viewers, you may have actually seen this movie at some point.
I would also say too that like it's just a good movie.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And it's also not like it's the setting and the situation are so universal that like
Yep.
it's not like the Canadianness of it is being rammed down your throat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this could just as easily have taken place in
Like Nebraska.
Minnesota.
Yeah. Something
So,
like that.
yep.
So
Yep. And then I guess the only other place I was going to shout out where you can watch it is it's actually part of the Criterion collection.
That's
which is
right.
super cool.
mm-hmm.
When to watch this me?
Sorry, not
Yeah.
to cut you off. I did go on Letterboxd, and people are still talking about this movie.
Yeah.
There's reviews like as recently as yesterday.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so it's a well-respected little movie.
Yeah, super cool. So when to watch? To me, this one is such a Sunday night movie. Like it just has that kind of vibe. I'm sure it played on Sunday nights on CBC. So no better spot to watch it than that.
Yeah, I would elaborate that it's just an evening movie. You
Yeah.
know, it's the subject matter does demand it to be dark outside.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's a nice movie to watch with your family. You definitely want to watch it with your daddy.
Yeah. If you want to emotionally manipulate him into admitting he loved you, put this movie on.
That's a little creepy, given the context, but
Well,
we will talk about that in the deep dive.
Well, this movie kind of has daddy issues, so we'll talk about that next week too.
Yeah. And I think that's it. That's everything I want to talk about for the primer before we get into the deep dive.
Yeah, cool. Let's do it, man. I'm excited.
All right, we will see you next week for the deep dive for a movie that you and I both clearly are on the same page. That's very, very good and very worth your time.
I'm glad. I feel like whenever I pick a movie, you don't like it, so I'm glad we finally got one. I'm glad this is my annual good pick for Blake.
This was a solid pick. I will give you
Nice,
that.
nice.
I will definitely be coming back to this one at some point.
Okay, cool.